Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's a great group, and it's a great day. I'm Jano Lieber, the MTA Chair and CEO, and I'm here with Chief Diversity Officer of the MTA, Lourdes Zapata, who runs our part of the MTA that deals with not just civil rights, but also our MWB contracting, but also joined by a trio of transportation luminaries, national figures, and they are the founders and the leaders of this equity in infrastructure project. Former U.S. Deputy Secretary of Transportation John Porcari, the Denver International Airport CEO Phil Washington, who is a transit man at heart, I know, because he is the guy who got the LA Metro going, and Dorval Carter, a dear friend of mine who runs the Chicago Transit Authority. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Listen, we're not hiding it. There's a lot of work going on in this station, and more than $45 million of that work is being performed by minority and women-owned business firms. This makes this station the perfect setting for today's announcement, where we are formally announcing that the MTA is signing the National Equity in Infrastructure Pledge to further our already extraordinary and, we believe, best-in-class effort to make MTA construction contracts tools for advancing the equity agenda. For many years now, MTA has been first in New York State. We're #1 out of 97 New York State agencies and public authorities in dollars paid to certified minority and women-owned businesses. Last year alone, almost 40% of MTA contracts went to minority and women-owned businesses, accounting for over $800 million just of state-funded contracts. And together with the projects, the minority and women-owned firms that we include in our federally funded contracts, the so-called DBEs, but it's also a lot of the same firms, minority, women-owned, service-disabled veterans. All together, it's $1.3 billion a year, $1.3 billion. We're blowing away the competition. It takes the next 10 agencies in New York State together to match MTA's spend. And we want to keep on building on our success as more federal money comes in to New York, we hope, but also nationally from the Biden infrastructure plan. President Biden has not only led investment in infrastructure to historic levels, but he has prioritized making sure that equity, the minority and women-owned companies, are central to that expenditure. And we're hoping we're going to get to do more of that as the Biden infrastructure plan rolls out and as the barriers to congestion pricing fade away very, very soon. Which brings us back to the pledge that we're announcing today. The promises are fourfold. MTA is going to continue to contribute at least $1 billion a year to MWBE firms. We're going to award larger contracts to small businesses, which are disproportionately members of minority groups and women-owned businesses. We're going to expand the pool of businesses we work with. This is a particular passion of mine. We need to go out and draw people into this industry because we are spending money with minority and women-owned companies hand over fist, but there aren't even enough of them. And it's an extraordinary opportunity for that portion of New Yorkers to get to be entrepreneurs and to create generational wealth for their families and their communities. And fourth, we're going to increase the discretionary contracts that we're awarding to MWDBE design and construction firms by 20% over the next 5 years. It's not just about the construction contracts that are going on here. It's about services, the design firms, the engineering firms, the lawyers, the financial professionals, the accountants. There are minority and women-owned firms in all those categories, and we want to make them part of this huge infrastructure push. I am very proud of the pledge that we are making, and I'm also proud to be part of such an extraordinary group nationally who's doing it. I talk all the time about how the transit system is the engine of equity. It's one of the very few things that makes New York affordable. You know, transit, if you live by transit, it's like 15% of the cost of owning an automobile. It is one of the few things that makes New York affordable, and we value it. For just $2.90 a ride on the subway or the bus, you get access to opportunity and education and jobs and everything New York has to offer over the full 500 square miles of New York City. 24 hours a day, not too many other places do that, 7 days a week, 365. And by the way, thanks to, there you go. 24/7, baby, Chicago and New York. And by the way, thanks to the recently initiated super discounted city ticket program on our commuter railroads, it's only $5 if you're using Long Island Railroad or Metro North to move around New York City. That is a huge discount that a lot of our historically disadvantaged communities are taking advantage of. Now, with this pledge, we're going to bring our best-in-class, best-in-state MWE programs to the next level. Stay tuned, folks. Now, with that, let me turn it over to Phil Washington, an old friend and a great transportation leader. Phil.
Well, thank you so much, Chairman Lieber, for those words and for your leadership, not just here in New York, but the entire country. Thank you for that. Before I do my comments, I want to specifically thank your staff. Lourdes, I see Naomi over there. Your PI folks have just been fantastic in setting all this up. So thank you so much to them. I want to recognize our co-chairs who you're going to hear from in a few minutes that Chairman Lieber just mentioned, former U.S. Deputy Secretary of Transportation and Maryland Secretary of Transportation as well, John Picari, and Chicago Transit Authority President Dorval Carter. John and I were talking a few minutes ago. We love the ring of President Carter. I mean, that name is beautiful. Also joining us here today is a key partner of the Equity and Infrastructure Project, the CEO of one of the leading transportation infrastructure firms, Greg Kelly, is here as well, looking dapper as usual. The overall mission of the Equity and Infrastructure Project is to build generational wealth and reduce the racial wealth gap in our country. And doing that through infrastructure is very important. This is an unprecedented time, as the chairman mentioned, an unprecedented infrastructure investment we're seeing. We seek to achieve those goals by improving public infrastructure contracting services to create more prime, joint venture, and equity contracting opportunities for historically underutilized businesses or hubs. Our organization is just under 2 years old, but we found that our colleagues in the infrastructure world share this belief in the importance of our mission, the Equity and Infrastructure Pledge that Chair Lieber will sign in a few minutes. He will be joining 56 other heads of transit authorities, airports, ports, water districts, engineering firms, and infrastructure associations from around the country. The White House has directly called upon bipartisan infrastructure law grantees to sign the pledge. But the New York subway and the New York MTA represents the biggest among us when it comes to transit agencies in ridership and in reputation. It sends this incredible signal to the entire country that we all must recognize that this moment of infrastructure investment is also a moment we must leverage to invest in our people as well. We need to bring folks along. It replaces and these cycles of inequality with new trajectory for families, for communities, and the United States. And so we're happy to be here. And at this time, I want to ask our EIP co-chair, John Picari, to come up for some comments.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you, Chairman Lieber, for stepping up to join the ever-growing Equity and Infrastructure Project Coalition. This nationwide coalition, which, by the way, in addition to private sector sponsors like STV and Greg Kelly. I know we have AECOM and HNTB here as well today. Appreciate their help as well. But today's CEO-level pledge from America's largest transit system underscores the strength of our coalition of the committed in leading the way toward greater inclusiveness, competition, and opportunities for local businesses. America does better when more people have a fair shot at the American dream. That's what the Equity and Infrastructure Project is all about. It's also about delivering more value for public investments by making every public infrastructure dollar work harder, making every penny of public investment a twofer, building not just a bridge, but a bridge to the middle class. Or in MTA's case, where they connect hundreds of thousands of people with opportunities every day by simultaneously creating opportunities for historically underutilized businesses to grow and invest in their local community. Historically underutilized businesses making the step change from subcontractors to prime contractors, joint venture partners, and equity partners maximizes the public investments in infrastructure. In contrast to the legal overreach attacks on statutory programs that we're seeing nationally by some judges making their own unelected public policy, EIP is a voluntary, CEO-based, moral and ethical commitment to do the right thing. Projects have more support and better outcomes when they reflect the values and wishes of their communities, squeezing more value out of every hard-earned tax dollar, more competition, reinvesting those public dollars in our own communities through businesses that have just made that step change from subcontractor to prime. What's not to like about this? Congratulations to Chairman Lieber and MTA for joining EIP's Coalition of the Committed, where together we're building a better America from the ground up. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce Equity and Infrastructure Project co-chair and one of our nation's leading champions for harnessing transit for community and economic growth, Chicago Transit Authority President Dorval Carter Jr. President Carter. I'm going to say that again, President Carter.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning. My name is Dorval Carter. I'm the president of the Chicago Transit Authority. And like Phil and John, I'm very excited to be here in New York City today to really celebrate the signing by MTA of the infrastructure pledge as they become a part of this historic initiative that we all believe in very much to bring around equity and inclusivity in the transportation industry. I can tell you as president of the Chicago Transit Authority, I too have had the experience of signing the pledge on behalf of my agency. And I can tell you that it was both an honor and a great point of personal and professional pride for me. I've known Jano for many years, and I know about his commitment to these issues. We've talked about it on many occasions, and so I can tell you that there is a symbol that comes from the importance of the #1 transit system in the country joining us in supporting this effort and becoming a signatory at this crucial time. I think it's safe to say that MTA is an invaluable member of this very distinguished group, and we are glad to have you join us. Across the country, diversity, equity, and inclusivity programs are under attack. Every day, a private sector business are eliminating DEI initiatives. It is a climate that inevitably threatens initiatives that benefit historically underutilized businesses that seek to compete for contract awards, including those who are often denied this opportunity to work as primes on multi-million or multi-billion-dollar transportation projects, the types of projects that both New York and Chicago build on a regular basis. Opponents of the equitable outcomes that EIP seeks only strengthens my personal resolve that our signatories and supporters must continue to fight and create opportunities for those businesses and expand our membership numbers. Through my role as both chair or past chair of the American Public Transportation Association, or APTA, or In my current role as the chair of APTA's Diversity and Inclusion Committee, I've been provided with a unique perspective on what is happening in DEI cases across the country. One thing that is abundantly clear is how vital and important EIP's goals are, especially right now. Those goals are, first, to fight for businesses that EIP serves and to ensure that they have a fair chance at opportunities that are too frequently denied. Second, we must keep this conversation front of mind for our peers in the public transportation industry and for elected leaders to ensure this vital effort does not fade away. Third, we must invite, attract, and engage transportation agencies across the country to sign the EIP pledge, just as MTA has joined our fight today. So once again, Jano, I want to thank you, and thank you for all that you are doing by joining this pledge with us today. At this time, it is my pleasure to welcome up Lourdes Zapata, who is the MTA Chief Diversity Officer, to say a few words. Lourdes?
Thank you, President Carter. I like that name. I like that as well. Good afternoon, everybody. As referenced, my name is Lourdes Zapata. I'm the MTA Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. I'm very proud that the MTA is taking this national pledge to expand opportunities for New York MWBEs and small businesses. I'm still considered a rookie at the MTA, having just joined the agency late last year. Prior to that, my public service included serving as Chief Diversity Officer for the state of New York and managing New York State's MWBE program. In those roles, I had the opportunity to work with all of the New York State agencies and authorities in their diversity and inclusion initiatives. So it's a really exciting opportunity for me to be able to come and join the MTA, which was always considered the state's gold standard in supporting small businesses and ensuring their engagement. The chairman mentioned our program's spending last year. It was the third consecutive year of growth for MTA's MWBE spend, and the third year in a row we exceeded New York State's MWBE goal. I have no doubt that we will continue and exceed that in our fourth year. Expanding the pool of contractors we can work with is good for the MTA, it's good for the economy, and it's good for equity, but it doesn't happen by accident. It takes accountability, innovation, and outreach. It takes this type of solid commitment to continue to lead the state year after year. The MTA's Diversity and Civil Rights team, which I have the honor to lead, is out there every day promoting contracting opportunities with the MTA, working with the community to expand how to do business with us, and providing every support needed to ensure their success. We also rely on strong advocates and partners around the city to help us reach our firms and reach our goals, groups such as the Women's Builders Council and two others, which we work very closely with, one of which has joined us today, and Executive Director Zenaida Rodriguez of the Regional Alliance for Small Contractors. These are crucial partners who are going to help us achieve our goals and vision for a true and significant inclusion, and we count on their support as well. And I thank them for joining us today. Now, a message to my Latino community. Buenos días, mi nombre es Lourdes Zapata. Yo sirvo como oficial de la diversidad de inclusión de la MTA. Estoy muy orgullosa que el MTA está asumiendo este compromiso de desarrollar más oportunidades para empresas, cuales los dueños son minorías, mujeres y o son negocios pequeños. Nuestra promesa incluye la contribución de no menos de $1 billón para tales empresas cada año, aumentación de contratos discrecionales de diseño y ingeniería, están licenciadas por un 20% durante los próximos 5 años. El presidente del MTA ha mencionado el gasto de nuestro programa este año pasado, que fue más de $803 millones, continuando el récord de esta agencia por el tercer año consecutivo, que hemos demostrado crecimiento y continuando nuestra habilidad de ser número 1 en estos gastos contra todas otras agencias en el estado de Nueva York. Estamos listos para servir y apoyar a nuestros negociantes y nuestra comunidad. Now it's my pleasure to introduce some of our construction partners, 2 of whom are working at this very same station and another at Grand Central. They are showcasing the expansive work the MTA has going on right now. With us, we have Seiko Prasad, owner of Seiko Ironworks, Jennifer Herman, owner of MKJ Communications, who are both doing work right here at 14th Street, And we also have Jeffrey Smalls, President and CEO of Smalls Electric, who is working at Grand Central Terminal. I'd like to ask Seiko to share a little bit about his story, being the first business owner in his family. Seiko, if you would, please.
First, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity of being here to showcase our job that we're doing here at 14th Street. This is one of our major jobs at 14th Street. We're involved with the structural steel. We're involved with ornamental metals. We're involved with the line structure rehab. And we have many other jobs that we're involved with throughout the system. I must say that when I first came to this country, I was a young man with a drive, an enthusiasm, and wanted an opportunity. And I started my business on my own, and today we are a major player in the organization throughout the system. And one of the most important thing I want to mention is that the MBE program, and this program that the MTA is running and partnering with the nation, it helps me grow. It's my passion, and it helped me grow. It gives me opportunities and open doors of opportunities that would never be available to me if these programs were not around. I want to thank you guys. You're doing a great job, and the pledge today is really important for me, and also it's important for all the minority groups that are around that can open doors of opportunities that I was given. Thank you very much.
Next, Jennifer, if you could please join us. Jennifer has been in business for over 18 years, and we'd like her to speak a bit about her tenure and her work with the MTA as well.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Herman. I'm the founder and owner of MKJ Communications. We provide low-voltage public communication systems for the mass transit. I'll say that differently. So at this station, all the security that you'll see and don't see, and all the announcements that you'll hear or that are sent station-wide, system-wide, remote-controlled, we do that. We're also the reason that your phone will work on the platform. There's about 40 different low-voltage systems that we provide for the transit. When I started my company 18 years ago, we were a group of nerds, as I like to say, that came together with an idea that we could work for this agency and do it differently. We understood that our trade, which typically, historically, they would bring us into the project at the end, and then things would have to be ripped out, that we could help design and be smarter with this agency. I'm so proud to say that my business has grown with this agency. 90% of the work that I do each year is for this end user, and I'm so proud of the hard outcomes, because it is somewhat of an antique situation that we're providing the most modern solutions for. I also want to say, as a woman-owned business and considered a DBE, I'm proud of that work. I'm proud of the opportunity that gave me to enter the room, to sit at the table. But I will tell you, now I'm proud more of the reputation that my team has earned at the table. We are, because we grew with this agency and we solely focused on your outcomes, your needs, we are sought after. And so I would challenge the powers that be, when they think about what do these minority providers need for a tough customer, because this is not easy work that we do. We're not just throwing up drywall and laying conduit. This is hard work. And so the small business contractors need financing. We need support that way. The minority and the disadvantaged businesses, we don't want to grow our businesses to support these agencies and then no longer fit the profile financially or the amount of volume we're doing, because we grow with you, we grow to you. And so as we move forward, and I think about my staff of 50 plus individuals from all over the world that have come to my organization and have grown with me, I think about how to secure my role in this industry, working with these great prime contractors and supporting these amazing outcomes, how we can all work together to keep women and small businesses and minority businesses functioning for years to come. So thank you for your great efforts. Thank you, and onward.
I have to get the mic a little higher. My name is Jeffrey Smalls. I'm the president of Smalls Electrical Construction. We've been in business for 26 years. Of that 26 years, 25 of the years has been doing transit work. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and I learned electrical in William E. Grady High School. And I went into the electrical union as a union electrician, and decided to get my license and pursue an opportunity to open up my own business. So with the help of the MTA, we were able to grow from a one-person shop to, at our highest peak, a 100-person organization. And I want to thank the MTA for the opportunities. As minorities, we need help establishing ourselves to work for owners such as transit. And we've been able to prove ourselves and show that we're the right ones for the job. Right now we're doing 17 escalators throughout the city of New York, and also in Grand Central we're doing a brand new fire alarm system. So these are all based on the opportunities that we've been afforded as an organization, and I'm looking forward to working more with the MTA. Thank you.
So inspiring, so inspiring. We're going to now invite the chairman over to the table to sign the pledge.
So there are a couple other people we just want to acknowledge who are here that, you know, because these projects, they have a lot of different key folks. And at the MTA, we started a system to make sure we had accountability. We started a system we call Project CEO, also known as One Throat to Choke. And one person who has accountability for executing a project with all these great contractors, and that's Edmund Gabanai. Where's Edmund? All right. One of the reasons that we keep getting good projects done on time and on budget is my friend Edmund is a ray of sunlight and an optimist and a hard worker, so thank you for what you're doing. Matt Zedwak is the Vice President of Stations for Construction and Development. Sinalta Forte is the overall general contractor. Sinalta Forte, where are you? They're all there, and those guys are fantastic. Nate Consulting is we hire some outside consultants to help us with project management. Nate is here. They're the PMC. Nate. Not to be forgotten, and come on into the picture, Jamie Torres Springer, my successor, who runs construction development. The MTA has a little old $55 billion capital program, and he gets to spend it. So, folks, if you're in the industry, get to know Jamie. With that, I think we're done with the formal program, right, Amanda?
Yes,
Do a little Q&A, if Ray Raimondo says that's okay.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman, and we have on-topic questions. Our first one's going to come from Bloomberg's Michelle Caskey. Michelle.
Hi, good morning. So, Jano, what do you have to? What is it that you want to say to MWBEs where, with most of your construction program now being put on hold, needing to be put on hold, you know, a lot of these businesses, like what Jennifer was saying earlier, the MTA is their business. I mean, so much of what they do. So what can you say to them as they work through
Well,
this?
number one, just to be absolutely clear, we have a ton of work that's already contracts awarded, construction underway, and that work continues, as you see all around us. What we have done is put on a temporary pause on $15 billion worth of capital construction projects that we would like to advance, but we have to wait until congestion pricing is finally confirmed. We're confident that the court business is going to run its course in the next couple months and that we're going to be able to resume that. There is all of the projects, though, the folks in the industry know, and the MWBEs, the minority, the women, the service-disabled veteran, they know we post very aggressively what projects are coming so they can get ready to bid for them. They can pair up with prime contractors. So the message is, you got a little more time to plan, but those contracts are coming, and we want to make sure with this pledge and all of our programs that a lot of that money continues to be 40% going to minority and women-owned companies. New Yorkers get to participate in this, especially through this program.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any more on-topic questions? Okay, we have time for one off-topic question. It's going to go to Ms. Haywood from WNYC, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, Jano, how are you?
Hey.
Why is the National Guard only deployed at busy transit hubs, not to areas that have seen gun violence and stabbings? And what does this aim to do? I'll note that the National Guard also wasn't deployed in 2017 after the bomber at the Port Authority subway station.
So I wouldn't assume that where the National Guard is today, because they have been in the big stations, is where they're going to be tomorrow. We're not going to say exactly where they're going to be, but we are surging people from different law enforcement forces into the subway, consistent with Governor Hochul's priority. But I'm going to say this. I love uniformed officers of all kinds in my stations. Why? Because when surveyed, 55% of MTA customers say the one thing that they want that makes them feel safer in the subway is to see a uniformed officer. I'm voting with my customers. The governor is voting with MTA riders, as she had when she protected the system economically last year in the budget, and she's protecting the system physically. But this is all being done in total partnership with the NYPD, who is the lead agency and who's doing a fantastic job under Mayor Adams at protecting New York City subway riders and at pushing back on some of these subway crimes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Congratulations on the pledge. For those watching our stream, we're going to play B-roll of the wonderful upgrades and construction work happening here at the 14th Street Corridor Station that's going to be played right now.